All right. So whether I like it or not, I'm giving cheer dad. That's who I am. I'm a cheer dad. My daughter is a cheerleader. Therefore, by default, I'm a cheer dad. And so this week, as my daughter goes to cheer at a football game that's 2.5 hours from our home in a different state because there's not enough people to play around here, I could let the bus take her and bring her home and pick her up at the school parking lot at 1 a.m. But I said, as a cheer dad of wanting to show the love for my children, I go to my daughter and I say, hey, I'm going to the game. I'm driving over. I'm watching you cheer. And then we're getting dinner and I'm driving you home. An act of love. No motivation other than love. And she's skeptical. She's skeptical. Immediately, she says, and I bring on Damian Dunn and Kristen Lanius to the show here. Immediately, she says, so what food is over there that you want to try? Dame, she thinks that I'm more likely to make that drive to eat at a particular restaurant than I am to observe her doing her craft of cheer.
Are you?
Fair question. And in fact, I was slightly angered by the question and the insinuation, but also impressed of how astute she may be. But no, the answer is I'm literally going because in a very brief moment of human existence, I was trying to be a good human.
Now, do you have like high school football team or whatever sporting event? You have sweatshirts and gear for all these different, athletic endeavors.
Yeah.
Do you have a local high school cheer sweatshirt that you wear to support these events?
Hard no.
Okay.
Kristen, can we hear you, by the way? Oh, no, we cannot hear her.
Cannot.
This is going to be difficult, Kristen, audio day, which is exactly what she needs on her Friday today. This is what she needs. It will not set off all levels of stress and anxiety, I promise.
I know I'm on the wrong mic. I don't know what to do. Do you want me to be on the wrong mic or do you want to fly without me? I can put in other headphones and be on a headphone mic and see what you think, or you can fly without me.
I think the headphone mic might be the best choice, Dame.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, give that a shot.
Give it a chance. Okay. So Dame, no, I'm not wearing a cheer sweatshirt. I'm wearing a bright yellow sweatshirt. I look like Big Bird, and it's one of the colors of the school, so that's all I'm doing.
Yeah. So you're actually already kind of ready to go. Just roll out of work and make that 2.5 hour journey.
Now I am still myself, so I am going significantly early to avoid traffic because I am who I am and I cannot avoid that. So
That's
I will be.
It's a really good idea for where you're going. You probably do want to leave a little early.
See, thanks.
Yeah. It's good thinking.
All right, let's see how she sounds.
Okay, hold on.
Oh wait, we still don't know if she switched. We are a professional. We're a top 1% podcast. We're a syndicated radio program. You guys, I'm on 3 podcasts this week.
Nice.
I'm on this podcast. I'm on the IBJ podcast, which airs on Monday. And then I'm on a new podcast called the Work Dad podcast. And I record that later this afternoon. I'm a podcasting veteran, as they would say,
Wow. I think it's your new set. Everybody's just intrigued by it.
Chris, what do you got?
Can you hear me? You want me to go?
No, we don't want you to go. I would go laptop, right, Dave?
Yeah, I would too.
Guys, hold on. This is trash.
Dave, she just called you trash.
That's fine. I've been called this by better people.
Oh, no, you haven't. Hey, Rick. Sweet. Hello, Andy. Hello, Cheryl, Chris, Rochelle. Another Chris spelled a different way. And hello, Leah. Fantastic.
Chris, the problem isn't that they can't hear me. The problem is that the audio is bad because my mic decided to put in its notice today, apparently.
All right, Kristen, we've got topics for you today, so no heavy lifting. Okay?
Oh, what?
Kristen, I'm so excited for the day you're going to have. I may, on the way to Ohio, swing up, bring you several bottles of booze, and then head on over to Ohio.
Wait, what's wrong with my day?
Well, no, I just, it's starting out fun here. Okay, listen, here are the topics. Oh. Who are the main financial benefactors of youth travel sports?
Okay.
That's a topic I've been exploring here recently, and I will share my findings with you. Number 2, end of Q3 stock picks, or end of Q2, whatever. Q3, almost at the end of Q3 stock picks.
Yeah.
And then finally, what is it, Dame? What is financial crushers?
Wealth
crushers.
Wealth crushers.
Wealth crushers. Things that crush your wealth.
Yes.
Okay. Great. Kristen, are you ready to rock?
Yes, sorry, I was distracted. The ambulance is next door. Go ahead.
Do you need to go?
No, I'm sure they're fine.
Sit there for your mic.
I wouldn't test me today.
I just really feel like this is an exercise of how many things can be thrown at Kristen at once. And just look at her smile, though.
I'm confused. Why does everybody think that I'm so stressed out?
I know. It's just like, here's the thing, Kristen. 18 months ago, you're
Yeah.
about to go on the radio. Your mic doesn't work.
Yeah.
It's the worst thing that's ever happened to you.
Yeah, I threw up immediately.
Right. Now, that happens. There's an ambulance outside. I got new topics I haven't told you about. I'm
Yeah.
just trying to commiserate the fact that you've grown so much that it doesn't even bother you anymore.
Growth Award 2024. Just remember that. That's
That's
what
true.
I'm gunning for.
Brian Pinkins with the return to the show.
With a new profile pic?
Does have a new profile pic. Looks like his pops on there, maybe. Good to see you, buddy. Haven't talked to you in a long time. Andy suggests that Chick-fil-A may be the big winner of youth travel sports, so we'll see. All right. Hello, Ian Champ. It's Ian. Could be Ian. And we're ready to go. I'll just drive the whole show. Okay, I got it.
Okay.
I feel good about it.
Okay.
In 3, 2, 1. This week on the Pete the Planner Show, we answer your money questions. Here's how the show works. You email us, askpete@petetheplanner.com. That's askpete@petetheplanner.com, and we will answer your financial questions on the air. Do we sell you things? No. Do we say call us during the work week and let us sell you things? No. The entire point of the show, as it's been for 15 years, is just to talk about money, have a good time, and maybe you learn something, maybe you giggle, maybe you leave us a terrible review online. Damian Dunn joins us. Hello, Dame.
Good day.
Literally no relation.
None whatsoever.
We haven't really checked, though.
You refuse to.
Correct. And Kristen Elanius is here.
We are also not related. Hello.
We haven't really checked.
No, we have not.
All right. So I don't know if you guys know this, but I get a paycheck every 15 days or so. And it feels like most of that paycheck goes towards one industry. And you're looking at me now because we're on a live stream. The radio audience can't see me. And Dame, you're seeing and you're thinking fast food. No, the answer is the Youth Sports Industrial Complex. I am in a situation of which I have previously publicly disclaimed as a horrible thing, but it's my reality. A tremendous amount of money in my life and over the next several years and in the previous several years, I've gone to youth travel sports. Dame, you are in a similar boat, and Kristen is simply the skeptic. And so what I want to do today is I want to explore from a percentage standpoint, who wins? Who is actually holding the bag when you think about all the money that's paid into youth travel sports? And so before we get going on this, questions? Anyone need any more context? Anybody have any disclaimers they want to make?
No, I think I'm ready to go with this.
Kristen, you did not play youth travel sports as a kid, correct?
I did not.
And you currently, your dogs could be in agility contests, but they are not.
But they are not.
Because they're currently sleeping and snoring while you broadcast right now.
Correct.
Okay, Dame, you did do some travel? No, yes.
Yeah, 2 sports.
Okay, and you are involved now.
Yes.
Same. Okay, Kristen,
8.
who do you think is the highest percentage winner of the youth travel sports industrial complex. Who is the single industry entity that wins the most? I'm going to give you some options here.
Okay. Okay.
We've got leagues, like I sign up for this league.
Mhm.
We've got tournaments. I host a tournament. We've got coaches, right? Actual coaches. We've got trainers. We've got sports equipment companies. We've got gasoline manufacturers. We've
Mhm.
got hotels. We've got restaurants. And then equipment. I don't know if I said it, equipment and gear and uniform companies. So everything feeling, Dame?
Clarifying question. When you say leagues, are you talking about the local association that you belong to or the national? If there are fees to go to the national level?
Well, I mean, there's some of that, but it's sort of like with I'll just go travel soccer, for instance. To be part of that travel program, there is a fee to be part of that program, and it is non-marginal. Right?
Correct.
Okay. Kristen, go ahead. Here we go. Who is the number one benefactor of the finances of youth travel sports?
You said like gasoline. Is that all things transportation?
It is.
That's who I think is indirectly the biggest benefactor.
Dame?
Restaurants.
Travel and accommodations, 40 to 45% of the overall spend, which includes hotel stays, transportation, gas and flights, and dining on the go.
Mhm.
Now, let me give you an example of what's happening this week in my life in travel sports. I'm driving 10 minutes. I'm spending that amount of fuel. I'm not getting food. The team we're playing is coming from a west suburb of Detroit, is staying here overnight, is having dinner here, breakfast here, lunch here, and drove here. And so that is their spend for the weekend. And 3 weekends from now, I am that person in St. Louis, Missouri. Okay, so 40 to 45%. Kristen, you look shocked.
At the risk of sounding insensitive, that is ridiculous.
What part?
The
Breakfast?
whole thing.
Are you just waking up to this idea that this occurs?
I'm judging you hard.
That I'm driving 10 minutes?
No, that next week you're driving to St. Louis.
Oh, you have we not talked about this internally?
This is insane.
Oh, you have no idea what I'm not saying right now. All right, next up, registration fees and club dues at 25 to 30%. So, for any sort of travel program, you're going to see between a $1,000 to $5,000 a year to participate as an athlete. Kristen, you really are shocked. You have no idea this occurs. Look at Dame. Look at her.
Yeah,
I mean, I knew it was ridiculous, but for why? Tell me why. For why?
For why? For why is the best phrase on the history of this program. For
You've
why?
never heard me say that before?
I've never heard you say for why.
Oh, well, why?
Why what?
Why do you subject yourselves to this?
Okay, so I just want to say your perspective you have right now is a perspective that I had about 10 years ago and publicly had the same emotion that you're having right now. But once you get there, what you realize is, okay, this is a person getting physical activity, learning to perfect a craft, learning to work with others, learning to take direction, deal with authority, deal with failure, deal with victory, and you still look skeptical.
And they can't do that in Indianapolis, Indiana. Not one thing you described is not available in your city.
Dame, she's literally repeating my argument from 10
Yeah,
years
I
ago.
think
It's really, I'm arguing with myself. This is fantastic. Dame, do you want to help me or do you just want to sit back and have a cocktail and watch us go?
No, because this makes absolutely zero sense. You and I are both aware of it. We can rationalize it as much as we want, but the amount of money that is spent amongst your family and my family on travel sports is borderline obscene.
I think the funniest part about this is now that I'm on the other side of the argument, I remember a family member of mine arguing the case that I'm currently arguing to me when I was arguing Kristen's case that she's arguing to me. And boy, have the turntables have turned. All right. So, Kristen, next is equipment and gear, 15 to 20%. Dame, are you in the least expensive travel sport as a family as it relates to gear?
You can get away with not spending very much, but on the other hand, you could buy potentially one, we'll call it a uniform, for competition that really only lasts about 10 to 12 wears, and they are, I mean, if you get top of the line, $500-$600 a piece.
Okay, so maybe not at the low end. You know what is got to be at the low end is cross country.
Shoes,
Pair of shoes.
water bottle.
No way.
What do you mean, no
'Cause
way?
not now, not anymore, because you have heart rate monitors and fitness trackers and goo, and you go through multiple pairs of shoes a season. I don't think cross country is that cheap anymore.
I don't think cross country use goo and they don't use fitness trackers and heart rate. I think like cross country team goes out and runs.
They don't have to, but in the same way that your kids don't have to go to St. Louis to play other children in a sport.
I love how much this is completely turned
Man,
in
sassy.
just 10 years. Finishing up, coaching and training is about 10% of the spend. And then other miscellaneous items like photography and stuff like that are the remaining 5%. We'll wrap this up when we come back from the break. Kristen has turned into me from 10 years ago, and that is the Pete the Planner show. This is wild. Like
I'm dumb.
I'd say it feels like I'm looking in the mirror, but that in itself feels insulting to you.
Eh.
Yeah. What?
I can't believe I've never said for why. I must just say that in my personal life. I feel like I say that all the time.
Dame, have you ever heard her say that?
I don't think I've ever heard you say it.
I like it.
I usually have to be like really upset. So maybe ask my person how often I say that.
Can I give what I believe is the justification of why you would drive to St. Louis?
Should this be on the radio or not?
If you're willing to come across as privileged and insensitive, I suppose.
Privileged, yeah. Insensitive, I don't know. Dame, do you think it crosses into
No,
insensitive?
I don't.
Privileged, yeah. Yeah, now I'm thinking, okay, I'm thinking of both sides here. I'm thinking of yeah, just a choice. And man, I'm really thinking back on the arguments from 10 years ago. And Kristen, you are making them point for point.
And they're not wrong.
They aren't wrong. Like, but there's no but. And what I realized in making those arguments is that I literally made the arguments against, and I did not consider at the time the arguments for. I just simply didn't. I was like, great. I'm not going to argue the advantages because I don't know them. I'm only going to argue the disadvantages. And that's what I chose to do at the time.
I think there aren't advantages. I just can't believe that for most people, the pros outweigh the cons.
Maybe over a ranch water, we'll talk about this. Craig P. Anderson brings up an incredible point. What is the bigger grift? Travel sports or paying an advisor thousands of dollars to get their kid to the college of their choice? I love when he has spicy takes. He used to be the spicy take machine on the show for years. And he's out gallivanting across the country.
I mean, I guess I would say, what's the point? What's the ultimate goal of participating in those travel sports? If you think you're doing it for the shot at a college scholarship, you're probably fooling yourself at some level. But if you're doing it for some of the other reasons that you stated earlier, Pete, then it might be a great experience.
I'm going to read Rick Swink's comment, and then maybe we leave it there. The only advantage I can think of is stiffer competition. And I think the justification lives in that universe. And to say any more just feels in like not what I want to do. But I will say this: the idea that people were theoretically driving home to Detroit and may have tuned in and heard that segment is really funny.
What are the chances, though?
If you're heading north, there's a lot of affiliates you could catch along the way. I mean, do people even listen to podcasts anymore. I mean, they're listening to the radio.
Of course, radio's hot.
Like when you're driving through an area, you're not listening to your favorite music or an interesting topic or an
Heavens
audiobook.
no.
You're scanning the AMs.
Checking the local farm report.
You're looking for poor paid programming on the weekends.
Here we are.
Hello.
Except that none of this is on the radio.
This part's not. Okay. Chris, I'm excited to talk about this. Let's talk about it on October 1st.
Why?
Because we'll be together on October 1st.
Oh. Okay.
Oh.
Man. Okay, let's move on. Dame, you ready to do the stock picks?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, in 3, 2, 1. Back on the Pete the Planner show. I did not successfully convince the host of the show, Kristen Elanius of Kristen & Co. I did not successfully convince her that there are reasonable and an overabundance of good things as to why a person would spend money on youth travel sports.
No, you did not.
And oddly, as I mentioned before the break, she holds the position that I held some 10 years ago prior to hair loss. Dame, every January, the host of this show, Kristen Elanius, and her sidekicks, you and me, make stock predictions.
Mhm.
Not to make anyone any money, but really to just as a game of chance and contest. And we say, I think this stock is going to be the best stock of the year. I think this stock is going to be the worst stock of the year. And this is where I think the S&P 500 ends at the end of the year. Traditionally, Kristen dominates this competition. Occasionally, I embarrass myself and entire lineage with my guesses, and you somehow get out scot-free the entire time. And you sort of the one that's just like, everyone's like, Dame knows what he's doing. So anyway, Dame, where do we stand right now? Please update us all the way through end of August into early September. Where do we stand on the contest this year?
Well, this is a good time just to emphasize once again that this is for entertainment purposes only. We are not making predictions or we are making predictions. We're not making recommendations on what you should be doing with your hard-earned dollars. That's what professionals are for. All right. Pete, winners. You chose. Do you remember who you chose?
Yep.
This month?
I chose youth travel expenses.
Hecla Mining.
Hecla Mining. How's Hecla Mining doing?
Hecla Mining is up 25.74%. Not shabby. Not shabby. I chose Delta Airlines. They were having a really good year until they weren't. And now they're only up 7.6% year to date. 7.6%, which historically speaking, Pete, I mean, if you and I are shooting for somewhere, but 10-ish range, I'm on track. I could pull that off with this pick. Nothing to be ashamed about. Kristen picked a bus company, Bluebird Buses.
Can I get time out?
Yes.
Who do you think drives all these kids to these sporting events?
Their parents.
Their parents.
Their
Never
parents.
mind.
Oh,
Not
Bluebird.
Bluebird buses. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Pete, Bluebird is up 90% year to date. 90%.
Kristen, can you raise your right hand, please? I, Kristen Elanius, repeat after me.
I, Kristen Elanius,
Supposed to say repeat after me. Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that what I'm about to say is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
that what I'm about to say is the whole truth and nothing but the truth.
She literally, okay, put your hand down. You didn't even repeat it exactly. So it's okay. So please tell the truth. Kristen.
Yeah.
Did you have inside information?
I did not.
I just don't believe you.
Well, where would I get insider information?
Where would you
First
get
of
the
all.
Bluebird buses?
Aren't
I was-
Bluebird buses manufactured like 10 minutes from your house or something?
No. They're not an RV company, they're a bus company. It's different. And I just did some clickety clackety and I was just Googling.
Yes. It's fantastic. Well, congrats, Kristen, on insider trading.
That's not funny.
Oh yeah. Oh, sorry. By the way, not only are the picks for entertainment purposes only, my accusation that Kristen participated in insider trading was just for jokes.
Jokes,
Okay.
people, jokes.
Don't clip this up and send it to the people.
Please don't do that.
Yeah. Okay. Dame.
Moving
go.
on to the losers. Kristen, since you barely eked out a win so far on that last one, we'll start with you on the loser side of things. Kristen, you chose AMC. No, not the manufacturer of Pacer automobiles, but the movie theater. She has no idea what an AMC Pacer is, do you?
A Pacer's a car.
Okay. All right.
Hey, there we go. That's pretty good.
All right. I mean, I basically said that, and she's just rephrasing.
I know what that is. I just
Okay.
didn't know there was a name before Pacer.
AMC, American Motor Co. Anyway, Kristen, AMC is down, so that's a good start. 15% year to date. 15%. That is it. 15% year to date. I also chose Beyond Meat for not only financial but philosophical reasons, as you'll remember. Doing a little bit better than Kristen. I'm down 25.5% year to date. That's good for me.
Stellar.
Not so much for stockholders. Not
Have
so
you
much.
have you softened on your anti meat position?
No. Not
My
at all.
favorite stock pick of the whole year, honestly.
Beyond
I think
Meat. Everybody is cheering for Beyond Meat. No, I can't say that. That wouldn't be very nice.
It's a very Ron Swanson pick, you know?
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Pete, that leaves you for the losers. Pete chose Big Lots. I don't know if anybody's been paying attention to the news, but Big Lots isn't doing so hot. In fact, I think they delayed reporting earnings this morning, which
What?
doesn't bode well.
Yes,
didn't see
they
that.
did.
I didn't see that.
Pete, Big Lots is down 92.6% year to date. They are on life support at this point.
I have to say, first of all, they're up 9% this morning. So something's up. Number two, and this is the most important part, I'm not cheering for their demise, right? I want people to stay employed, right? I'm celebrating the fact that I'm the biggest loser. That's what the king of the losers is who I am. Yeah.
But being up 9% today on a 46-cent per share price is not really a win for Big Lots.
Says the queen of insider trading.
I mean, if you bought it at the bottom and it sold out, you made 9% on your money. That's a quick little 9% turn.
46 cents.
It went from a stock to a penny stock this year.
Yes.
Correct.
Dame, can we take a quick detour? Oh, we don't have a ton of time, but Dame, did you ever, as you started to understand investing, did you ever go, I'm going to take a look at the pink sheets? Did you ever think,
I never did.
I'm going to do penny stocks? I did.
Did you?
Yeah.
How'd that work out?
Giving Jordan Belfort?
No, well, yeah. I did a little bit in college, 1996, 97. Yeah, I was doing
Yay.
Ooh, early in your career,
okay,
too.
Kristen, how old were you at the time?
2.
Okay, moving on. Dame, what are the S&P picks?
S&P 500, we all had our own guesses. Pete, you said 14% for the end of the year. I said 6. Kristen said 8. S&P is up 15.4% year to date right now. We still have plenty of time left on the clock, folks. We've got an election. I don't know if you know this. It is an election year coming up, and there's a lot of proposals out there between taxing unrealized capital gains and other general tax proposals. I mean, well, a lot could tank this.
So are you asking us to recast or if we want to recast?
Yes, I am. You
right.
feel comfortable with 14, or do you want to put it down a little bit and say, you know what, I'm going to 20? Man, that's what you should do, Pete. You're going to 20.
I'll go to 20.
Let me memorialize that here. Hold on. I'm changing that to 20 for Pete.
I'm
20.
kidding. I'm not going to 20. I'm sticking at 14. Kristen, what are you doing?
You're locked in. I don't know. I'm just going to stick with what I know. I'm just sticking with what I guessed. It just is what it is. Just ride the wave here.
Dame, are you recasting?
No.
If I were a betting man, which I'm clearly not, I would take the under on my prediction.
Really?
Yeah, I would, of course. I don't think it's going to be 14. Anyway, here's what we're going to do. After the break, we're going to come back. Wealth Crushers. Dame told me this segment. I don't know what it is. It's next, but you're going to love it right here on the Beat the Planner show. Yeah, Wealth Crushers.
Yeah.
Dame, I don't know how you feel about the reporting and or accuracy of capital gains on unrealized gains, right? I've been reading it, and I've been reading criticism. I can't parse what is real and what is not real. Like what is hyperbolic and what is not. I just can't figure it out.
Thank you.
Yeah, I've kind of given up on trying to determine what is actual policy and what is just out there to be consumed in the social media / news space. And I mean, I think there's virtually zero chance of any of that being implemented anyway, but it's not the best policy idea that's ever been floated.
I saw something online that said, this means a person that's got a $500,000 home is going to have to sell their home to pay. And I'm like,
pay the taxes on their home. That's not going to happen.
No way.
That's not going to happen.
I mean, Dame, Dame, you and your household is a business owner.
Mm-hmm.
My household is a business owner.
Mm-hmm.
There are gains unrealized within those businesses.
Mm-hmm.
To have that happen would mean that both of our businesses would go out of business.
Yes. Very quickly.
It's not going to happen.
No.
And I also don't believe that it's in that spirit that tax policy was floated. I just can't. I don't know. Because that's crazy.
I mean, the one point that one side of the political spectrum always comes back to is unless you make or have over $100 million, it doesn't apply to you, which I think is a little disingenuous based on how the history of our country goes and applying taxes long term. But I would think there would have to be some carve outs for certain things, houses, things like that. But gosh, this would be a wonderful opportunity for the person or party who floated this idea to actually come through with details and make them well known instead of just saying, hey, here's an idea. Think about it however you want and fill in the blanks and either be as scary or as beneficial as you want it to be.
There are already carve outs for primary residences. You're talking about getting rid of the exclusion and on top of that, taxing the unrealized gain.
Yes.
That's literally not going to happen.
Yeah, because the dumbest thing here, and again, what I'm not saying is the policy is dumb. I'm saying the arguments going back and forth are dumb, or is currently what I'm saying. That would mean members of Congress would be paying massive amounts of unrealized capital gains tax on their residences because a lot of them, some of their primary wealth is tied up in real estate. So they would it would never happen.
Kristen, let's just say, all right, there's an exclusion. Let's say it goes through that exclusion. Then what?
Yeah, but then you're talking about a whole different reality, which is that people's houses are not properly valued on a consistent basis.
Yes.
Well, I mean, don't even get me started on who's going to do all the appraisals and trying to figure out exactly how much all this stuff is worth on that's not actively tracked in like a stock market or anything like that. But
exactly.
But
it's completely unrealistic.
It is not implementable on a large scale.
See, this is why to slightly pivot, this is why I think all the talk about tips taxation, like gratuity taxation, also is going to go dumb, because then people will lower compensation or fees, and then everything will be sent through as gratuity as a tax evasion. I like the spirit of creative ideas of raising new tax revenue or whatever, or shifting the base of tax revenue. But it's how people go to avoid it that ends up creating a lot of the issues then, which I guess isn't the policy's problem, but it's still something the policy has to deal with.
Yeah.
Boy, we figured out nothing. We're so
What we
good.
did figure out is do not just share random images on Facebook.
So you
about
saw that
things.
image on Facebook.
Yes.
I had a friend who's a financial advisor share it.
No.
And I wanted to jump in and be like, dude,
Fired.
I mean, he's not my financial advisor.
You're fired.
Dame, Kristen, act like you don't hear us for a second, okay? Dame, I like the funny visual of Kristen talking into her mic, even though that mic isn't active and it's just a facade. It's like a Hollywood set. Go ahead. Hey, Kristen, how are you?
Doing well. How are you?
Good. Just funny. I don't know. We are going to get. Go ahead, Dame.
I was saying it was like the mic on. Did Letterman have a nice mic on his desk?
Oh, that's
Or
a
was-
good point. Like the
Yeah, the
little
little radio.
totally.
Think of the name of that mic.
I would love one of those. That would be so cool.
You can buy them today. I'll
They're-
send you the link.
The real ones are crazy expensive.
Very.
The ones that look like old radio mics that aren't are cheap and don't actually work that well, from my understanding.
Well, mine doesn't work at all. So
Wealth Crushers in 3, 2, 1. Back on the Pete the Planner show. Whether you're driving to the hardware store this weekend or returning home 5 hours away from a soccer match, it's good to talk with you. I'm Peter Dunn. Some call me Pete the Planner. Some call me Dad. Some call me Honey. And those people are here now. Kristen and Dame, hello.
hello.
If you had to call me Dad or Honey, and those are your only choices, like I don't know how those are your only choices, but if it's like you have to call me Dad or Honey, Dame, what are you going with?
Dad.
He calls you dad
He
anyway.
calls me Dad now. Kristen?
I feel like I would have to say dad to just play into the bit.
Yeah,
Yes.
I do too. Whew. I call myself Honey when I look in the mirror. I'm like, Honey, you look good today. And
Positive
then,
affirmations. We love
Yeah.
that.
then I open my eyes. All right. So Dame, before the show was like,
Mhm.
there's something going on online, and it's called Wealth Crushers. Let's see if I can hold on.
Wealth Crushers.
No, that
Should've
wasn't
gone
what
the
I was
other
going
way.
for. I should've
Wasn't
gone the
it?
other way. Dame, what are you talking about?
So yeah, I totally saw this online, so I can't claim this idea as my very own. But I thought it was interesting to talk about. There are some opinions out there on what could potentially prohibit someone from making progress in their wealth growth of their personal life, or things that could actually crush that approach. I mean, some would say potentially you travel sports could do one of those two things, crush wealth growth. But there are potentially other things as well. So I thought maybe we'd spend some time hypothesizing about what some of those wealth crushers might be.
Unrealized capital gains tax.
Big crusher.
Yep.
I mean, surely no one can think that's going to happen.
People do think that.
Lots of people think that. Lots of people think that.
Okay.
Lots.
So let's
If we-
go ahead, Dave.
If we had to handicap it, what's the likelihood of unrealized capital gains, that proposal coming to fruition and being implemented? What would you say?
0.
Are you comfortable saying zero? I mean, like just zero chance.
Okay. Justin Bieber said never say never. So 1%.
Wait, Justin Bieber said never say never.
He did.
We're crediting the Biebs for never say never.
I mean, the song is iconic.
Wasn't it Wayne
It is.
Gretzky, aka Michael Scott, that said that?
Eh.
I'll go 1%, 0.5%.
Okay.
Is what I'll go with. Dame, what do you think? No, wait, hold
I
on.
mean,
Hold on. Don't answer. Don't answer. Hey, everybody, watch this. Dame, what do you think?
1%.
Oh, coward.
You can't get me.
I can get you, and I have, and I will again. All right, wealth crushers. Kristen, I mean, how does that now person just not go like healthcare stuff, right? Like that's where you start, is it not?
That's not where my head went.
What's yours?
Literally, when Dame floated this segment idea to me, I typed back immediately children.
But children don't necessarily children ruin a lot, okay? Like I have a list. I will fax it to you. But I don't think they ruin assets. Dame?
We spend a lot on. They don't ruin assets, but they prevent you from adding to your assets.
That's not a wealth
Yeah.
crusher. I thought this was taking wealth and then and it crushes your wealth. I don't think it was crushing the potential for wealth, is it?
Okay. Yeah. Well, we can apply your interpretation to the segment. That's fine.
Okay.
Well, that's not as fun.
That's not as fun. Okay. Youth travel sports ruin wealth.
Children.
Children ruin wealth.
Specifically. Yeah.
Yeah. You guys tell me all the time that kids bankrupt you. How could that not be where your head goes first?
About?
Damon, I have literally never said that.
You say that indirectly all the time. That kids are insanely expensive. That all the time.
Dave, do you remember when I implied I'm going through bankruptcy because of my children?
Oh yeah, that was a great show.
I will say, we've got a couple friends that both working professionals, no kids, and they appear to have a lot of discretionary cash. So through that lens, yeah, kids can delay the wealth creation. I'm going health. I'm going that one of the worst parts about the healthcare system in the United States is if you have something medical happen in a bad way, whether you have insurance coverage or not, it can wipe you out, and it can wipe you out permanently. And so I would say that is a wealth crusher.
Yeah, it's hard to argue that there's a lot of trials that can come along with having unpayable medical debt out there. I kind of went a different route. I think access to easy credit for a lot of people is a potential wealth crusher, because you accumulate way more than you should, and you spend way more of your time trying to get out of it. And with those dollars, including the interest that's going to be charged on top of all of that going forward. So I think it may not be the biggest, but I think access to easy credit for a lot of people is a potential wealth crusher.
I think that's really astute and really interesting. Eric in our YouTube live stream right now says drugs, alcohol, and cigarettes. I'd love to discuss this, but I also, before we discuss this, as I have a propensity to make jokes literally about everything, I'm going to just take a breath so we can talk about this with the respect it deserves and the sensitivity it deserves. Dame, on the surface, that idea of drugs, alcohol, and cigarettes, wealth crushers?
Yeah, I think especially if it's an issue that is not under control for you. I mean, I don't remember the last time I looked to see what a carton of cigarettes costs. It seems like it used to be way more prevalent back, P, when you and I were kids. You used to see what the price of a carton of cigarettes was almost anywhere you walked into. And I can't remember the last time I saw the price of a carton of cigarettes anywhere, but it is, the tax on it is unbelievable. It's got to be it's got to be pushing like $75-$80, I would guess, now for a carton.
Okay, so no one put this in the chat right now, but I don't know what a pack of cigarettes cost. I think back in the day, Dame, I would have said they were, when we were really young, $2 to $3, and they grew to $5. I have no idea what a pack of 20 cigarettes costs right now. Kristen, do you have any idea?
A pack of cigarettes?
Yeah,
or a carton? Because
no, he's talking about cart. I'm just talking about
a pack. I know how much a can of chew costs. So if I put that in relation, I feel like maybe like $6.25. Depends on your brand, obviously, though.
Yeah, I don't know. I would say $8 or $9 is what cigarettes cost a pack now.
A bit cheap.
I looked up, I Googled price of a carton of cigarettes in Indiana. It ranges between $73 and $93.
Wow.
So what is that a pack?
I don't know how many packs are in a carton.
Well, that's not helpful.
Did anyone think when Kristen knew the cost of chew that the immediate thing that went through your head was like, find you a girl that can do both? She knows the cost of chew. She knows the cost of stocks. Like, she's got it all.
What budget category would that fall under?
Love that.
Chris notes in the chat, divorce is
Marriage.
A wealth crusher.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on a second.
Hold on
Hold on a second. I said divorce, the end of a marriage. And Christian, you said marriage, which is the beginning of a divorce. Wait, you think marriage is the wealth
beginning of divorce?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Marriage is the wealth crusher, not divorce.
Well, I mean, those that end up in divorce. Yeah.
Damn, that's hard to argue against, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can't have one without the other. So I guess we're kind of there. But marriage is a great chance to increase your net worth as well. Rick Swink, another listener, making a play for my favorite listener ever, says, Taxes are a huge wealth crusher. Yes, they are.
I think Jason comes over the top rope with an old joke. It may have been Justin Bieber who said it.
Oh
Leading cause of divorce is marriage. All right, let's do this. These have been wealth crushers. I know this segment was supposed to go.
No, I don't think so, but it was
No.
Oh, man. All right. So coming up after the break, Dame and I on microphones and Kristen will do biggest waste of money and the news. All of that right here is on everyone's favorite radio show and top 1% podcast, Kristen and Co.
I appreciate the jab and then you calling the show Kristen and Co to make up for it. It's very Sour Patch Kid when you do that, like sour and then sweet.
What?
That's what you did.
I know,
You
I
insulted
understand,
me.
But wait, I love the use of Sour Patch Kids here. Are they ever sweet? I thought they're just sour.
Sour Sweet Gone. That's the commercial.
They do have sweetness to them?
Is this how you guys feel when you bring up stuff from before I was born?
Clearly.
A little bit, because I honestly, but I've never seen a Sour Patch Kids commercial because I'm usually
Never?
all the shows I watch, I'm seeing like commercials for gold, and but Ted loves the Sour Patch, but I didn't know they had a sweetness to them.
I feel like I'm living in a dream. This Sour Sweet Gone, you've not.
How long ago did this commercial air?
I mean, back when I used to watch commercials, so pre-streaming.
Sour Sweet Gone. I just did it. The
Sour Patch Kid would do something mean to someone, and then they would apologize, and then the person would forgive them. That was like their tagline. That's what you just did to me.
Was this on during like Clarissa Explains It All, like on Nickelodeon?
I don't know what that is.
Impossible.
Kim Possible.
Okay, let's do the show. Let's just keep it moving here. In 3, 2, 1. This week's biggest waste of money of the week, right here on the Pete the Planner Show, is TimeSense launch capsule. It looks like a clock. In a way, it is, but it's not meant to tell the current time. Instead, the TimeSense launch capsule marks the passage of it from an event of your choosing. Pull the pen and it begins counting up, showing the days, hours, minutes, and seconds on a pair of LCDs stored safely inside a handsome borosilicate glass tube with galvanized aluminum end caps. Use it to mark the birth of a child, a personal achievement, or any other momentous event, and know that you'll be reminded every time you look at it, or at least until the 2,738-year timer runs out of room. Just be careful. Once the pin has been pulled, the timer cannot be reset. Kristen, what would you believe the cost to be for something that can, for instance, you pull the pin after your last speeding ticket and you're like, I haven't gotten a speeding ticket in 3 months, 4 days. Like, what do you think this thing costs?
Did you tell us how large this thing is?
I can. Its width is 6.85 inches. Its diameter is 1.5 inch, and its weight is just 10 ounces.
Oh my gosh, it's so small.
Sure to get lost.
Dame's flashlight in his pocket currently right now might be bigger than this. Oh, he's reaching into his pocket. He's pulling out what looks to be 6 inches.
Yeah. I mean, it's smaller, but it's
okay.
Okay.
Not that long.
This thing is a giant waste of money, and it's $72.
Wow. Okay. Dame.
What happens if the battery runs out?
Oh man, well, I mean, maybe the timer is how long until the battery runs out. That's what it's. You pull it, and it just like how it pulls like the little thing separating like the battery, and all it is a timer of how long a battery lasts. That's the whole thing.
It's amazing.
How much, Dame?
$175.
420
Oh my word.
American dollars. Before we move on, Kristen, if I gifted you one of these, what would you pull the pin for?
First of all, I would ask if you got a gift receipt. And I don't know. Are you kidding me?
Dame, do you have something that comes to mind?
I mean, for kids, that makes sense. I can understand that. That's probably it. I can't think of anything funny.
I would pull it when Mrs. Planer starts to give me the silent treatment, and I can just see how long it lasts. Dame, what's in the news this week?
TikTok creators assumed they had outsmarted the largest bank in the country. Turns out they just reinvented stealing. This weekend, a glitch allowed people to deposit bad checks at Chase's ATMs for exorbitant amounts of money, have the credit appear in their accounts, and then withdraw some of it before the bank caught the mistake. The problem is that this free money hack, celebrated in several viral videos, is actually just a form of fraud called check kiting. The bank didn't confirm how many customers participated in the viral scheme, and there's a chance that many of the videos and posts about users making stacks from the ATM error were just skits or jokes. But it prompted Chase to release a statement telling customers not to try it. The bank said that depositing bad checks and withdrawing the money is, quote, fraud, plain and simple. The harebrained scheme was especially ill thought out because you had to use your own checking account, making it extremely easy for the bank to track down potential scammers.
These things pop up all the time. People are like, look at this hack. It's like, no, that's theft. That's not a hack.
Yeah. That's illegal.
Yeah, you can't actually do that. I knew a guy back in the day in high school that he'd be like, I got this cool trick. You go to a store and you change one price tag off of an item, you peel it off and you put it on another price tag, and he's like, you get stuff for a lot cheaper. And I'm like, I think that's a crime. I'm pretty sure that's a crime.
You see people do that on videos where they like put the like sticker for the chicken, like the 1 pound pack on like the family size pack. And they're like, if Walmart's not gonna pay me to scan my own items, I'm gonna do what I need to do.
Wait, that's still a seriously?
People
that's still
still
a thing?
do that. People on social media, that's a really common thing, is to change, especially on like produce or like meats, because those stickers can be just like placed on a different item. You still scanned it.
Dame, I'm going to ask this a very difficult question before we move on to the next news item. What percentage of humanity do you dislike at this point?
I mean, it fluctuates on any given day and sometimes multiple times within the day, but I mean, it's probably 30% range, somewhere in there.
Wow. That's conservative. Mine is mine's a little heavier. All right, what else is in the news?
Many of them may still be staring at cinder block walls, but college students are spending big on decorating their dorm rooms to make their rooms feel homier. Students are going to shell out $87 billion this year. Or if you had to guess how much per student this comes out to, how much per student is being spent on upgrading dorm rooms?
$1,243.
More than that, but less than their parents paid for their travel sports.
$1,300. That's very nicely done. $1,365 per student.
Pretty close.
Peter Dunn, you're the winner of that. That's a big jump from the $48 billion they spent a decade ago, but less than last year's $94 billion. The New York Times reported that some students are going a whole lot further than picking up matching set of extra long twin bedding at Target. They're hiring interior designers, Pete, to the tune of sometimes as much as $10,000 to decorate a dorm room.
Don't say that's crazy. Your kids are getting close to college age.
Dame, real quick, checking in. What percentage of humanity do you dislike?
75%.
There we go. All right, Dame, what else is in the news?
A record 1 out of every $10 spent globally in 2024 will be on travel. Just travel, not travel sports, travel, as people briskly book hotels, cruises, and flights, according to an annual report by the World Travel and Tourism Council, a nonprofit membership organization. Travel and tourism industry's contribution to global gross domestic products is expected to reach new heights as consumers increasingly see travel as an essential part of their budgets. The council estimates that the industry's contribution to the global GDP in 2024 will increase 12.1% year over year to $11.1 trillion, making up 10% of the global GDP. This represents about a 7.5% increase from the previous record set in 2019.
Will you spend more in travel this year than you spent on last year? And will you spend more on travel next year than you spent this year?
I spent more on it than I did this year than I did the previous year, and I will not spend as much next year as I did this year.
Interesting. I spent significantly less this year than I did last year, and I will spend significantly more next year than I did this year. I think we're going like on a big vacation every other year sort of thing. That accounts for that. Kristen, you travel hours and hours to see concerts. What say you?
Well, as the two of you know, I am likely to be in a few weddings in the next year and some change. So I will probably be spending an increasing amount this year and next year.
So, programming note here on Kristen & Co., the next year of programming is going to be directly counting the dollars spent participating in weddings. So Kristen will ruin her friendships, and we are going to have a tracker of how much money is spent for other people's good times, aka youth travel sports. Dame?
Also, editor's note, none of the weddings Kristen is planning on participating in are her wedding. That is
Also true.
just
Wow.
getting that out.
There's no will not be money spent on my wedding. Thank you for the clarification.
Wait, so earlier when you said wealth crushers and you said marriage, you didn't necessarily mean a person's own marriage, but other people's marriages.
Yeah, I mean the whole thing. Yeah.
The whole institution. It's the best show we've ever done today. All right, that's it. Send you good vibes because good vibes are all that's in the budget. I'm Peter Dunn. That's Kristen Elanius. And that's Damian Dunn. And this is the Pete the Planner Show. It felt like an old school outro where Oh my gosh. Eric is just like, Eric, listener of the day. He said this 3 times today. A coworker went to 13 weddings this year in 4 countries.
Okay, I'm not.
You know what I call that? Quit your job. Like, stop having coworkers. You know, it's just like that's terrible.
That's a fourth of the year. A fourth of your weekends are spent at weddings.
Okay. Andy's got a good point. I want to see the comparison. What either Dunn spends on youth travel sports versus what Kristen spends on wedding involvement. Yeah. What's more pointless? My kid learning how to do something or watching 2 people could have gone to the town justice or whatever.
Excellent point.
I didn't disagree with you.
Also, you go to concerts. Yeah. Don't you have an MP3 player? How many weekends are travel sports? No comment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
About
50.
100 a year. Roughly.
100 weekends a year. That is exactly right, dude. All right. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to go off the air and I'm going to tell Kristen what is spent on youth travel sports in a 12-month period.
I don't want to know.
And then she is going to, Kristen, can you raise your left hand, please?
What?
I solemnly swear to not disclose this information to anyone outside of the 3 people who are going to have the conversation.
I solemnly swear to not disclose this information to anyone other than my person.
All right. To your oh, I don't need him thinking I'm an idiot for another reason.
That's why I have to tell him.
Gosh, man. He's the best. All right. Everybody. Oh, hey, Dame, have a good weekend. Kristen, have a great weekend. Everybody else, stay getting money.